Alright, little update on the box Chevy LS swap frame off project. Little progress. Got the 6-liter in. Got the headers on. I ended up moving the motor mounts back 1 notch. The oil pan was real close to the cross member. So this is a 6-liter from a 2004. It's got 123,000 miles on it, and that is the matching transmission. That is a 4L80 out of the same vehicle. Guy in the city hooked me up. Got my shifter hooked up. So this goes to the factory column shift. And because the 4L80 is longer, I had to bring this bracket back towards the back of the car. So I just drilled a couple of new holes here, moved the factory bracket, and then on this shifter rod, I just took a 1/2-inch bolt, beveled both ends, and I welded it and then cut it. So if you can weld, that is definitely an advantage when you're swapping stuff like this. That's a brand new proportioning valve. Got stainless steel brake lines. These headers, though they're okay at this point, not really sure whether they're going to hold up. One thing you have to do with these headers is you have to trim the ears on the transmission, both sides. I just used a right angle grinder to trim them. I believe it's okay. Other people have done it, so I don't foresee any issues. Moving back, so if you've seen my other videos, I considered using the factory cross member for the transmission and then just opening up the other side so the exhaust can clear. But it looked hokey. I've seen the work after it's completed. It's hokey. Then I sourced a 1995 Impala SS cross member from Facebook Marketplace. It's in really nice shape, but it was big and clunky, and you had to make funky bends in the exhaust in order to match the Impala SS. So I did some research, and I found this cross member here. This is for the box Chevy, and it's for a 4L80. So there's no modifying. It was a little over $300. I got it from Advanced, I believe it's called. And it's powder coated, black powder coated, and it comes with the 4 bolts, the hardware, and it bolts right in the exact location that the factory cross member was. And here's the part number, the little tag that they weld to the top of it. Like I said, it is powder coated. I did notice that the cross member right under here where the mount is, there was 2 holes. They were both offset and it didn't really fit my mount. This is the factory mount for this make and model transmission. So I just ended up drilling a hole where it wanted to go because I didn't want to pull it one side or the other and put stress on the front motor mounts. So I drilled a hole in it, put a couple washers on it, and it's fine. Then we follow the stainless steel brake lines back, and I'm still waiting on my clips. I do have the original clips, but they were rusty. So I found a set on eBay for 20 bucks or so. Comes with a complete set. Just waiting for them to come, and then I'll secure them. And what I mean is, so the brake line is loose. So in these holes, it's got a clip that goes around it and then secures it to the chassis. I did use some of the rusty ones. Let's see if I can find one. Yeah, there's one right up there next to the header. Right there, you can see it. Anyways, so now I ordered some more tube. This is not custom bent from Inline Tube. And I ordered the appropriate size for the gas line supply and return. The fuel tank goes right here, and then these brackets here is where the original fuel line went, here and here. So it'll come over, it'll come down, and then there's more of these holes. Here's one here, and then it goes in between the frame, the open part of the frame, and I'll be using those brackets to secure it. And now with the LS's, they fuel from the back. So I'll come up here and I'll follow the cross member somehow with the fuel lines. I'll follow it up the trans and then right to the back of the manifold, because that's where they fuel from. So so that's the update. Let's talk about the tires. I have Corvette Rallies with 8-inch wide tires, and they're okay. They're fat in the middle right here, and they look like a balloon. So on Marketplace again, and I found a dude in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Kenosha, Wisconsin, who was selling a set from his Camaro. These are from a 91 Camaro RS convertible, and they are 8-inch wide. They have the factory offset. The fronts are different from the back, and by size, these tires are for a Corvette. They're the BF Goodrich G-Force, and they are 8-inch wide, and being 50 series, they're a little bit lower profile. But I want to show that how much clearance they are. So this is factory back spacing on Camaro wheels, no spacers whatsoever. I took my Corvette Rallies off, I put these on, and as you can see, I can put my hands in between on the back, on both sides, and then the fronts I can turn lock to lock and they don't rub. So when they engineers created these B bodies, you know, aka the box Chevy, you know, they must have been thinking ahead that people were going to chop these up and make them into hot rods in the future, because everything just bolts. And I'm really liking how it looks from the back. I pulled the rear end out and cleaned all the rust, and I used POR 15. So if you see the frame, that's POR 15. There's plenty of videos out there, you can see how the process is done. And then the springs are silver. They're not new. I just painted them with silver POR 15. You know, I'm not ready for springs. I'm considering air ride, so I wasn't going to invest in springs right now. Plus, there's so many out there. Moog makes them, and you can watch videos on how to make this thing handle like it's on rails. I haven't gone there yet, so that's not an investment that I wanted to tackle. And then the swing arm, I'm sorry, not the swing arm, the sway bar, I painted red. I just had some red paint in the garage. It's not really like bright red like you would see. It's more of a, I don't know, peachy, orangey red, but I like it. I really like the way it looks from behind. But then again, don't we all? All right. All right, one more thing I wanted to cover is this being an 85, being in the Midwest. I'm the second owner. I got it from the original owner, and it was a Milwaukee car. So the body mount holes, two of them were rusty. The first one is this one, and the second one is this one. So I chose to fix this one. I welded a new plate on, did my measurements, and I drilled a hole. They're 1.5 inch diameter. This one here, I'm not gonna mess with. The body mount fits on it just fine. So I've chose just to leave that one as is. Same thing with the front suspension. I have not done anything with that yet, as I might put new control arms on it to help with the handling. I want to turn this car not into a drag race car, but into a highway cruiser that's got power, that has air conditioning, so I can, you know, cruise and be comfortable and not, you know, sweat my balls off. And additionally, you know, two more things I forgot to add. I did put an Elgin sloppy stage 2 cam in it, and I put a torque converter in it. It's a 28 to a 3200 stall. It's a guy that does them in Chicago. They're reasonably priced, and watched a few videos on them. They seem to be working out well. So, you know, I'm not rich. I'm not trying to dump $1 million into this. So, trying to be budget minded and do the best I can with what I have. All right. Happy box Chevying, y'all.